Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Honest to Goodness podcast with your host, Tony Ray.
A pirate walks into a bar with a paper towel on his head. The bartender asks, "Hey, what's with the paper towel?" The pirate says, "Arr, I've got a bounty on my head." Dad joke of the week.
Justo.
Every week I ask you to live. This week I ask you to stop living in fear, stop living in ignorance, and start living with a grounded moral compass.
Richie Phillips.
So he's like, I'm not cutting this mustache because we need to reshoot. You're going to have to figure it out. So they ended up having to CGI his mustache. And I don't know, like, this is a meme because it cost Warner Brothers over $200 million in CGI. Big money, big money there. Mustache money.
And Marvin Scott.
That'd be cool. It'd be cool to see Mickey Mouse break some ankles occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they'll do something creative with that, I feel, you know.
Without further ado, welcome to the Honest to Goodness podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to introduce the sexiest man alive, Marvin Scott. Marvin, how you doing, man?
Doing well, Richie. Just spending time with family. Really enjoying my time here in Ohio. Catching up, man. Playing basketball with the nephews. They're wearing me out. But overall, I'm having a great time here, so far. Just, getting used to having this much space, y'all. Like, we were on lockdown, and I was on lockdown in New York for a while. But it feels good to be home, for a little bit. And just a good reflective period. So good to see you, fellas.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure we'll get into that more. And my next guest here is somebody we would call Delgado at work, Justin. Justin, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, Richie? I'm doing okay, man. Just working through this lockdown, living that quarantine life.
Yeah, you're working through it, man. You've been busting your butt, losing weight. It's crazy. Man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I hope at some point you'll let our audience know some of your tricks and tips, because most people cannot lose the type of weight you lost like that. So
yeah, I think we're gonna have we've got a little documentary coming out later on down the road, and from there on we'll probably talk about it on the air and everything.
Cool. And my next guest is a man who's always been slim as it gets. Tony, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do need to fatten up. So Justin had offered to give me some of his excess weight that, he's getting rid of. But, I do want to gain some weight. I eat as much as I can, but it just doesn't stick. That metabolism is just working double time. But eventually it'll slow down. And then
I don't know.
And then I'll have to watch that documentary on how to lose it.
It's a blessing, man. You think you're stars and eat away, brother.
No, I'm with him. I used to have a crazy metabolism. I was as skinny as Tony, and then I hit 30 and it just disappeared. Now, don't get me wrong, it had more to do with like drinking like 20-ounce Cokes and burritos 3 times a day, but still, it's possible to gain weight if you eat really, really shitty, let's be honest. So I was just out on a hike, man. It was a good time. I went out for the weekend. I was up in the mountains. So unfortunately, really tired, but ready to go, guys. So let's just kick it off. Marv, you've been in Ohio. What's the best part of your week so far, man?
Seeing family. I haven't seen my family, fellas, in 7 months. So that's something I can speak from the heart on, seeing a few friends and doing it in a safe way. It's a different transition, because things are always changing. The city always changes, especially in 7 months when you haven't seen everything. But overall, it's the best part has been the relaxation and spending time with family, and I'm gonna continue to just play a lot of golf. That's been a great part too. Getting out there, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I'm just really enjoying it here.
The best part of my week was actually going through footage and just kind of reminiscing. I, as everybody remembers from last week, spent some time down in Dayton with Tony Ray, and we had a pretty awesome H2G film set going. And so seeing all the footage of back then, thinking back to the show back then, our memories together, and just thinking about all the things to come with the H2G podcast and where it's come from has really kind of kept me afloat this week.
Well, gentlemen, the best part of my week was, I'm in Columbus, and Bobby and Kevin had their baby. So a new baby boy, Connor Thomas Steichman, born 9 pounds, 7 ounces. It's a big boy. That's a big boy. But we're just helping out. We took care of their dogs and kind of house sitted until the baby was born. And now that the baby's here, we're just here for support, little extra hands to kind of help out. But that's really been the best part of the week for me. Moving forward, still going to be the best part of the week.
That's great, man. Yeah, I guess I have a twofer on my best part of the week. It's like a 50-50 split. One thing that was pretty cool is I finally got an accent chair that I ordered in March. It was like being like handmade in Italy and all this bull crap. And then with COVID, it just got extended. It was supposed to come at the end of September, and it came like 5 weeks early, 6 weeks early, something like that. So that was really dope. And then honestly, today, man, I've been struggling. I went on that hike and my brain has just been putty. And I went to go make my coffee like I always do right before the podcast. And I didn't put the glass on the coffee machine. So I just completely poured and I wasted $2. So I'm not really thinking clearly and lucidly. So it's kind of funny that I'm actually opening for everyone today. But stay tuned, folks. We're going to have a great podcast. We have a special guest artist, apparently, that I'm not allowed to know about. So stay tuned.
And now, time for news on the H2G podcast.
All right, let's talk news. This week, guys, what I'd like to talk about, and I've seen a ton of it on social media. I've seen it in the news itself. I've heard it from the mouths of friends and families. And I'm sure you guys and the listeners have all heard and seen this as well. The big discussion on conspiracies regarding this mask mandate, whether or not we should be wearing them and things like that. Let me start by saying you should absolutely be wearing a mask, and it's for several reasons. But first and foremost, something that I think that we should address right up front, the mask, if you are still living under the illusion that you're wearing the mask for your protection, you're wrong. That's not what the mask is intended for. It's not what they use them in hospitals for. It's not what they use them in operating rooms for. The mask is to contain the germs that come from the wet particles in your mouth and in your nose and stop them from spreading all over the place. Now, as you can see with this pandemic, there's a reason for everybody to keep the germs in their mouth. So I'm going to open it up the floor. We could talk a little bit. Tony, you got to take on all these conspiracy theorists and what they're saying?
Listen, if I don't have my pants on and you have your pants on, let's just start over. If I don't have my pants on and you don't have your pants on and I pee, then you're going to get wet, right? If I don't have my pants on and you have pants on and I still pee on you, it's not going to be as wet as before, but it's still going to be wet. It's going to be damp. Now, if I have my pants on and you have your pants on, then guess what? The majority of the pee is going to stay on me and you're going to be pee free, right? That's what the masks are, people. It's that simple. We don't have to write a book. We don't have to, play checkers. It's chess. It's very simple. Okay. The mask you wear protects from other people getting sick. And if both parties have masks on, then you don't have to worry about it. That's why the mandate is there. The mandate is there because people don't know if they're sick. They could be sick and not know that they're sick. So if you wear a mask and I wear a mask and Billy Bob wears a mask and Susie Q wears a mask, then we're okay with not getting it to be spread around. I passed by a pool on the way to Columbus. There was about 60-something people, no exaggeration, 60-something people. all in the pool, no masks. Can you 100% be certain that no one in that pool is sick of COVID or any kind of illness? No. You're taking chances, people. Chances you don't need to take.
Richie, what do you think, man?
Well, as somebody who had COVID in the state of California and has been wearing a mask the entire time, it's very challenging to explain to someone. I'm just going to explain to you what happened to me. A very healthy man. I obviously joked about my poor diet in my early 30s, but I'm a very healthy man. I go to the gym. Well, not currently, but I go to the gym for about an hour and a half, 7 days a week. I basically eat the exact same boring meal, which is what many women have made fun of me about. It's brown rice, broccoli or asparagus, and either chicken or salmon. And once in a while, I get a steak. That's literally what I eat 3 times a day. Nothing else. So I got sick. I almost never get sick. And got the flu. I'm feeling really bad. And about 2 days in, I felt the same. I just felt like, oh no, I'm congested. I'm running a fever, but I can walk around and things are fine. And then day, I think 3 comes, and all of a sudden, I don't even feel like I can move, and my body starts hurting. And I actually talked to the guys about this a little bit ago. And actually, this lasted for about 3 days. And of the 3 days, since I live by myself, only one day I was able to muster up enough energy to even eat. So in 3 days, I ate 1 time. So I was not feeling good. I lost a lot of weight. I lost over 5 pounds, sustained losing over 5 pounds. And, after those 3 days, so we're at day 6. So on the 6th day, I'm feeling good enough to at least move and cook for myself and function as a human being. Now, obviously, I don't feel like it would have been as drastic if I had somebody be able to help me. But, some people are single, some people are in relationships. So bottom line is I didn't really have support. So I'm very fortunate at my age, I was able to live through something like that, be able to live through 3 days of basically not eating and things like that. And then I'm healthy enough to do so. Otherwise, things could have went bad.
Marvin, you actually live in New York City. Now you're currently visiting in Ohio. But what are your thoughts on this, man?
It's been a unbelievable, 4 or 5 months, going through this, especially in New York when you heard sirens every other 15, 20 minutes, when they ran out of hospital, when some hospitals ran out of space, when they had to use freezer morgues to put bodies because they didn't have anywhere to bury them. You're talking about we're still having this conversation today. It's ridiculous. People want to call it a hoax. People want to politicize it. What is there to politicize about people dying? I don't understand that. It doesn't take but to listen to Richie's story, someone who actually went through it, or someone that actually died from it. Does it have to actually hit home? Yeah, fellas, I think people that don't get it, and Richie's right, people that don't take it seriously, keep not taking it seriously until it hits home, until you have to figure out how you're going to have a eulogy for your loved one and you can't even be there. You have to figure that out. Don't get to that point, folks. You do what you can to protect yourself and others. If the mandate simply says wear a mask, please do so. Doing your part. That's all we're asking you to do on this show. Just listen to the experiences and listen to what we're saying.
Thank you, Marvin, Tony, Richie, for all your takes and your points of view on that. Richie, for the numbers. There is just a few things I want to call out before we wrap this up. So we talked about one of the big conspiracies is whether or not it's effective, because everyone thinks that for some reason that it's supposed to protect them. No, it's to protect others. So in that vein, the last thing I'll say on that is wear your mask, because my life doesn't belong to you. Marvin, Tony, Richie's lives don't belong to you. Our kids, our families, our friends, their lives don't belong to you. So just wear your mask. Because if you're okay with catching this disease and letting it go and believing that it's fake until you die, that's your choice. You have the right to do that, but keep that to yourself. Second of all, I literally had several people, and I can't believe that I'm saying this is several people come to me and tell me that the government's trying to figure out if they can control us by forcing us to wear masks. Okay. I'm not big onto talking religion either. I have my own views and I prefer to keep it that way. But if you people out there are worried about the mark of the beast, that happened to you the minute you got a smartphone. The first time you got a smartphone and started putting your personal information, your pictures, your family, your house, your address into all your credit card apps, your TikToks, your Snapchats, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, the government knows where you are at all times. I've had someone say, I'm not going to get the vaccine when it comes out because I don't want a microchip. What's a microchip going to do? They can literally get any information they want from you because you willingly gave it away for the stupid that you like on your phone. So get over yourselves and wear a mask.
The only thing I would add is if you don't wear a mask and you're listening to this show, we implore you to please reach out. Maybe there's something that we're missing. Maybe there's a point of view that we haven't thought of. We would allow for you to give that point of view across, because I think it's pretty evident that everyone on this panel strongly agrees that we need to take this a little bit more serious than we are. And when I say we, I'm talking about all of us collectively, because there's people that are taking it serious, but it's always the few that don't that really make it hard for the rest. We got to be smarter. We got to do what's right. We got to do what's best for ourselves, our family members, our children, our country, the world. Just wear a mask. It's that simple. Richie's not going to ask you because he knows deep down he can't change your point of view. There's no point of him wasting his time. I know Richie very well. That's why he didn't say it. But you heard Marvin, you heard Justo, and you heard me. Wear a mask. It's that simple. Do what's right, what's best. Stop fighting something that you believe because of a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy if it actually happens.
Don't go anywhere. The Wire coming up. You're listening to the H2G podcast.
Hot off the wire.
Hot off the wire this week.
Hot off the wire.
Hot off the wire this week. You fellas ready for this?
And now, H2G presents The Wire.
All right, folks, welcome to The Wire. This week, we've got something that we'd like to talk to you about. It's the art of trash talking. Trash talking happens in all kind of competitive sports, but it doesn't have to be just sports. It could be anything. So my question to anybody and everybody who's listening, you can also leave a comment if you'd like, but to the three gentlemen, what's the best trash talker that you've ever seen? And have you done trash talking yourself in your lifetime?
Woo, man, that was a question I wasn't ready for. All right, so best trash talker. Everyone's going to default to Michael Jordan, and I disagree. I think in boxing and just in general, you're gonna find what I consider the best trash talkers. Roy Jones was phenomenal, by the way. But a number one, for obvious reasons, Muhammad Ali. Got the man on my wall, always will. Nobody like him. He was the true salesman. But he did it in a different sense than how Michael did it. So this is all about opinion. Muhammad Ali tended to trash talk to make sales, right? To raise his stock and raise the profile of the fight. Now, did he trash talk in the ring? Yeah, because he would sometimes use it tactically. But for the most part, it was to promote himself and promote the fight and uplift himself and his peer. So to me, I just don't think there's anyone like him. There's nobody that would just say, hey man, round 3 done. And he'd do it in a rhyme. Obviously, it was way more charismatic than what I just said. But to me, that's what made him so incredible. Is just he was the epitome of charisma. And he was also just the epitome of trash talk. You never got a word in on Muhammad Ali. It just did not happen. Michael actually, if you've seen The Last Dance and you've seen some of the stories about Michael Jordan, Scotty got some good barbs in on him before. You know what I mean? Name one Muhammad Ali story where Muhammad Ali lost the trash talk. Now, as far as the second part and the latter part of the question, when I played sports, absolute, to be honest, I was a trash talker. It was in my nature. I didn't want to be a fair competitor. I liked putting people and getting people offset, so to speak, and take advantage of that. So it was something I definitely used in my repertoire. So I always think it's fine. The only thing I've always been is don't talk about anybody's mother or their woman. And outside of that, I think we get.
Those are fair points. Marvin, Scott, Tell us your opinion, my friend.
I think I'm going to go the late, great Kobe Bryant. I don't think there was, you could say Michael Jordan, but to me, Kobe Bryant was always unrattled. Especially, you're talking about class personified greatness. This dude defined having a competitive edge. The Mamba mentality was something he always talked about since the beginning of his career. And watching The Last Dance, Tony, I know that you just watched it recently and you become a big fan. You get to see Kobe credit his trash talk that he got from Michael Jordan, and when I used to watch Kobe over the years and they'd have like the little sound bites during the game, you couldn't believe like some of the things he was saying to players to get under the skin. He would tell James Harden, "You can't have been sit at my lunch table." He would say things like that. During practice, Nick Young would say, "Nobody on this earth can guard me." And then Kobe said, "Thank God I'm not from this planet." He would say things like that. Kobe was just so competitive. His obsession with winning. I just don't think anybody could try to trash talk him. He was always in control. He was going to dish it out. And I just think Kobe, and then there's everybody else when it comes to trash talk, so that's it. The Black Mamba.
Now, did you ever do any trash talking, Marvin?
Oh yeah, it's part of the game. Certain sports, you got to tone it down. Like golf, I wouldn't recommend you trash talking that because you're not playing your opponent, you playing the course. But when you're playing a 5-on-5 game of basketball, a pickup game, or any kind of contact sport, you got to come with that chip on your shoulder. Because guys are coming to take it from you. these are guys that work a 9 to 5 and not playing around. They just want to go out there and get what they, get back what they thought they had back in high school. They're trying to relive some of the old days. And so some of that competitiveness comes out. And still, my friends to this day, we still got that competitive edge. The trash talk never stops, so, but it's fun. You always want to keep it lighthearted at the end of the day. It's never hateful. Trash talk, like Richie said, as long as it's in the respectful sense, as you're not talking about somebody's mama or anything like that. I'm pretty sure Mike and Kobe went there. But, for the kids out there, you just got to keep it light. I think, just for our youth, that's the message. Trash talk is, I would advise it, but, keep it light.
Quick side note, as much I'm still on Muhammad Ali, but I will say one quick story from Marv that I agree Mamba was up there. Mamba learned Yusuf Nurkic's language, which is Bosnian, and he also learned Luka Doncic's Slovenian just so he could curse at them in their language. That's Mamba. That's
yeah, that's Mamba.
He learned language so he could talk Like, come on, man, that's pretty dope.
I think it's part of the sport. It's part of competing. It's a part of the game. And regardless of what you're playing, my friends and I are all video gamers, and we've played some basketball and football, and we're same thing like Marvin was talking about. It's just fun. It's part of the game. Now, I didn't know that we were going celebrity, so I was gonna say the best trash talker that I've run across is actually my friend Andrew. He goes by Baba Jones. Tony, you met him on the set. He's just the best. When it comes to video games, he will make you lose complete focus of what you're doing. Somehow him talking will make you lose. I don't know how it works. But if I was going to pick a celebrity, I would actually go over to the wrestling world and say CM Punk, because, I don't know if you know a lot about wrestling, but when they cut promos, there's a direction they're supposed to go, and then there's the direction that CM Punk went. But he was just huge because of how good he was at doing that. So, and then have I trash talks? Of course I trash talk. You can't be the best and not trash talk.
I see you. Yeah, so like I said before, trash talking can happen anywhere, at any time. It could be sports related. It could be video games related. But for me, one of my all-time favorite trash talkers was Charles Barkley. And this is why. It's because Charles Barkley just like many NBA players thought he was the best. And hands down, he could have been the best if he could have been a little bit bigger and a little taller. Let's just be honest. So he would say anything and everything. He didn't back down to Michael. Their friendship actually grew off of that. But he would say some of the weirdest things, and you still see it today if you watch TNT, the NBA Inside. I mean, he still talks trash. He might not get his point across like he used to when he played the sport, but he still doesn't give a rat's ass. He's going to tell it like it is, how he feels. And, you know, to me, he's hands down, to me, one of the best trash talkers. You can't deny Mamba. You can't deny Muhammad Ali. They're in a different class of trash talking. To me, Michael Jordan he wasn't really a trash talker as much as he let his game do the talking for him. But he would say things if people were rubbing him the wrong way. But if you talk smack to Mike, the only way that he would respond is by dropping 36. So if you had 20 points and he had 4 points and you said something to him, well, guess what? You ended up in the game with 26 points and he ended up with the game with 44 points. So, I mean, his trash talking was different. It was more gameplay. But to finish it up, have I ever trash talked? Absolutely. It's thrilling. It's fun. It's absolutely. I'll do it when I'm winning. I'll do it when I'm losing. I don't care when I do. When it happens, it happens because it's a psychological thing. If you get into someone's head, they're either going to give up or they're going to get motivated and be a little bit better, which then also heightens your game. That's how it normally works for me. If I'm playing crappy in basketball or golf, I feed off of the energy that's around me. So if someone else starts to heighten their game in golf or in basketball, then it enhances mine as well. So the trash talking works for me, whether you fall or whether you excel. If you all have stories about when you trash talk, hit us up, H2Gpodcast.com. You can leave a message. We can share it on the podcast. But other than that, that's been The Wire. Stay tuned. And up next, we'll meet our special guests and play Game of the Week.
All right, fellas, I've kept it a secret long enough. We have a special guest joining us for the rest of the show. This person has been on the show before. This person is a competitor. This person is funny. Richie thought he was going to get some more time off without this person. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Christy.
What?
I'm back. I'm like the Rona. You can't get rid of me.
Oh my God, she's back.
You know, I messaged Justin and I was like, man, I don't want to be telling our wedding story anytime soon, so don't let her come back. And here she is the very next week.
Oh, wow. Christy, what a surprise.
Hey.
Oh, my goodness.
Good.
Let me put this script away.
So Christy's going to join us for the rest of the show. Don't go anywhere. You're about to hear Mirrors and Smoke by Alexandra Sedlak, and then we'll come back for Game of the Week. You'll listen to the H2G podcast.
Your hand falls heavy in mine.
It's time for Game of the Week.
That's right. It's time for Game of the Week. And we have our special guest, Christy, joining us. So as you can imagine, I will be moderating and sitting this one out. But what we're doing, the Anything Championship. Now, until Douglas decides to come back to the show, he's relinquished the championship. But when he comes back, whoever's champion has to go one-on-one with him. That's what we've decided on.
Sure.
So what you're saying is...
I'm champion.
Yeah, we're competing for the interim championship. Yeah.
So what you're saying is the winner of this week, the winner of next week, and the winner of the week after will all meet on the finale show to face Doug for an all-out win of the battle, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So essentially, only one person is gonna not get to compete for the belt,
and that's the person that's to run the game.
Well, not true, because we have special guests in and out, so anybody could, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like I have to pin Christy and Richie against each other.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put Christy and Tony together.
Ooh.
And Richie and Marvin together. And we are playing a little game called Would You Rather?
Okay.
The way that we're going to do this, you guys all grabbed paper and pen for me?
I have a pen in hand.
All right, awesome. So we're going to go from team to team. And you have to guess what you think your partner... So everybody will write down what I say. I'll read the Would You Rather, and you have to guess what your partner picked. Potential 2 points per round for each team. So we're going to go over to team Richie
Gryffindor.
and Marvin first. Not team
All right.
Gryffindor. Would you rather, A, have a ketchup dispensing navel, or B, a pencil sharpening nostril? Okay. All right, Marvin, do you think Richie, what are you thinking here?
Who do I think he chose?
Yes.
I think Richie chose the ketchup dispensary navel.
Do you have reasoning to back it up?
I just know Richie. I know he's all about efficiency. So
That's great.
I figured
You did.
He
You
already
chose.
gave us his meal plan earlier, so I just figured, you know.
Well, apparently that was correct. So you guys get a point there.
Marv, that's literally why, like, okay, so one of the things, like I said, is I eat very plain, standard stuff, so I like to have different flavors.
Team Marvin and Richie starting things off with 1 point. Richie, which do you think Marvin chose?
I mean, I still feel the same way. Marvin, we talked about it. He's a Wendy's kind of guy. He's a classy guy. There's no way he would write with a pencil when he's an actor. He has somebody write it for him. So, clearly,
Marvin, did you select A?
Yes, I did.
All right. We have 2 points over on Richie and Marvin. We're going to move over to Miss Christy. I'm sorry, Mrs. Christy. Tony Ray.
Get it right, man.
I'm sorry. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
We'll see.
Remember, and just to clarify, you're writing down what you would rather do, and then we'll guess each other's.
Okay.
Would you rather, A, eat 75 lightning bugs, or B, a live tarantula? All right, so you have your answer then?
Yes.
I have mine.
Cool. All right, Tony.
Yes.
Do you think Christy would rather eat 75 lightning bugs or
That's the one.
a live tarantula?
That's the one.
Which one?
A.
A?
Yes.
Christy, what did you choose?
I chose a tarantula.
What?
Only one of them. They're both alive. Might as well go with the.
The
Oh man,
I'll
Marvin.
just have to get some ketchup from Richie and Marvin, and it's a tarantula covered in ketchup.
Marvin, what would somebody have to pay you to eat a tarantula, man?
It's not enough money in the world you can give me to eat a
You can
tarantula.
kill it first.
You seen the arachnophobia?
Is that your life, Marv?
Yeah. Ever since I saw that movie, I don't do tarantulas. I can't. I don't like talking about them. So next question.
Yep. Move on.
All right, so
you don't even have to guess mine. We just move on.
Christy, which one do you think Tony went with? The lightning
I think
bugs?
he's going to take the lightning bugs.
The lightning bugs?
Absolutely, I don't do spiders.
All 75 of them?
All 75 of them.
Now
You have
here's
to catch them too.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a stipulation. And then here's a follow-up question: would it glow when it comes out the other end?
Yes.
So there
Yes.
is a way to have glowing turds.
Yes, I've actually eaten lightning bugs before. It does glow.
It's easier if you just eat the light, like the glow stick.
That's probably
Glow
not.
stick.
I've also
All right,
I've
let's
also
do the disclaimer. We don't approve of eating glow sticks or bugs or tarantulas.
yeah, we don't. But if it does happen, I've eaten a caterpillar and a butterfly came out my ass. I killed it right away because I know Richie doesn't like them.
So at the end of round one here, we have a 2-1 score. Richie and Marvin have pulled away up front due to Christy's willingness to eat a live tarantula. We are moving into round 2. Marvin and Richie, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Would you rather have a goose that lays golden eggs or an elk that leaves a trail of beat up Buicks? Richie, what do you think? What do you think Marvin wants more?
I mean, this is pretty obvious to me. Marv was just talking about how he lived in a box in New York, and now he's in Ohio. He's got all this space he don't know what to do with, so it's got to be A. It's got
the golden eggs. You want the golden eggs? No? No. He wants
man.
the elk because he's in New York. I get it. So that's to clear the traffic out of your way?
Yeah, man. I mean, you said elk that leaves behind beat up Buicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how much I can flip them beat up Buicks for? Back here in Dayton, I'll make a killing.
how much gold is worth, Marv?
No, listen, you know how much those beat up Buicks are worth? Listen, man, I understand economics here on a whole nother level. Beat up Buicks, you can make them nice, flip them.
Tony,
What am I going to do with a golden egg?
Tony, Tony, as a man who takes very much pride in what you drive, and I saw what you drove pulling up to the film set. What do you take on the beat up Buicks? Is there a lost market there? Are we missing?
No. I understand where Marvin's coming from, but
Thank you, Tony.
but I'm taking that golden egg. I ain't gonna play around with you.
It lays golden egg. You sell the eggs. You buy a Mercedes. What are you?
I understand what he's saying. You know, he's trying to flip that Buick, but if you give me the golden egg, I don't even need to worry about that Buick no more.
Marvin, what do you think Richie chose there?
Well, we're obviously not going to go into business together. So I think he chose the eggs.
The eggs. Was it the eggs?
That's okay.
Okay,
I need the insurance policy.
I'm going over to Tony and Mrs. Christie. That sounds weird. To Tony and Christie.
Tony and Mrs. Christie.
You sound like a teacher for the first grade.
Mrs. Tony
Christie, I have to pee.
Well, if you don't, little Timmy, your bladder will explode.
It so will. It would definitely explode. All right, we're going over to Tony and Christy here for their second round here. Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to be wrong again.
Would you rather have control over future flavors of breakfast cereal or never burn a Pop-Tart again? Christy, what do you think Tony wants to do? Do you think he wants to rename all get the future flavors of the cereal or never burn a Pop-Tart again?
I think that he would do future flavors solely because he enjoys burnt stuff.
Tony, how much do you like burnt stuff?
Bacon.
Just bacon?
She is absolutely correct.
Oh, so you eat burnt Pop-Tarts?
I don't eat Pop-Tarts, so that's why I had to go with that. It wasn't an option.
All right. So that is 1 point for Christy and Tony. Tony, do you think Christy's going to save the Pop-Tarts or name the future flavors?
See, this is what gets me because I always think that Christy and I are the same. So there's like a part of me that's telling me to go with B, and there's this fighting urge in the back of my head that's just like, no, stay true, do A. But I know she loves those Pop-Tarts, and she doesn't like to burn stuff, but she doesn't really burn stuff. But that's not the question here. Okay, I'm gonna go with A.
A.
Yes.
That's what you had. No.
I love burnt Pop-Tarts.
You like burnt Pop-Tarts
Yes.
too? What is going on? Richie, do you burn your Pop-Tarts?
Okay, let me clarify. This is exactly why we're not married anymore.
Oh.
Pop-Tarts. Are you kidding me? And I don't know what Tony's talking about. She's burnt plenty of stuff around me, so I'm just saying. I was surprised. I thought she was going to hit the B because she does burn shit, but whatever. It's okay. Clearly, I don't know as well as I thought.
No, Pop-Tarts is one of those rare things that you just have to have them really nice and crispy on the outside and then soft on the inside.
I agree.
No comment. I plead the fifth.
All right, so to finish it off here, we're going to go into sudden death. We're going to have Marvin guess for Tony and Richie guess for Christy. I know, great idea. I'm glad I have those. All right, here we go. Would you rather have perfect date etiquette, but only between 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., or would you rather have to attend every date in the same Mexican restaurant? We got something locked in?
I do. For Tony. Is this a question for me and Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Tony, I know my guy very well, and he will choose. Now, see, the way he just looked at me, he just made it tough. I wish he didn't do that just now, folks.
Never doubt yourself. Go with your gut. You got championship on the brain. What are you thinking?
Got championship on the brain. I'm going to say perfect etiquette between 2 and 3.
Tony, what you got, man?
Yep, perfect etiquette. You picked it.
Perfect etiquette. Oh.
Yes.
Awesome. From 2 to 3, huh? You could deal with that?
Oh, yeah. From 2 to 3. I mean, I like Mexican food, but not that much. I couldn't take every date to the same place. No. And plus, with me not having a job right now, I can go anytime I want to.
Right. Nobody's going to El Rancho Grande every night.
All right, Richie, you have to guess what Christy chose. What are you thinking?
This is a tough one for me because I got a little backstory. Her birthday, we celebrated Mexican restaurant. When I first time I meet her, we go to the wedding and all that stuff. Mexican restaurant in New Bremen. You know, don't get me wrong. The A one feels like the toss up because it's just so easy. Like nobody cares about having perfect etiquette. But I have to go with my heart here. I'm gonna have to go with B.
Christy, what'd you have?
Mexican restaurant.
Mexican B. You don't actually have to show the camera. Okay, so to up the ante here a little bit and make things a little sweaty, what we're going to do is we're going to read 2 would you rathers, and Tony and Christy will write down their 2 answers, and now you'll have to guess both. Worth a point apiece. Could be a winner right here. Are you guys ready? Question 1. Yep. Would you rather have a sidekick or a butler? Would you rather have a sidekick or a butler? Okay, moving on to question number 2. Would you rather eat every object in the dictionary between flock and full or between blimp and brown? Would you rather eat every object in the dictionary between flock and full or between Blimp and Brown? This is a tough one. So to go over both questions, the first one.
I'm trying to figure out what that even means.
Eat every object. So whatever it says in the dictionary between. Yeah.
Every single word in between them.
Between flock and full and between Blimp and Brown. And the first question was, would you rather have a sidekick or a butler?
Do we have to eat the last word? So, I don't want to eat brown because that just sounds gross.
That is part of it.
All right, so Marvin is guessing Christy. Richie is guessing Tony.
Okay.
For a shot at the Anything Championship on the finale. Marvin, for question one,
back.
Do you think she would rather have a sidekick or a butler?
Okay. All right, Christy, we're back. You got a lot ahead of you. You get ready to, you're expecting. So I would think Christy could really use a butler right now, this time of her life.
Christy,
so.
Did you want a sidekick or do you want a butler?
I want a sidekick. A butler has to stay at the house.
Guess nobody wants a Jeffrey.
It's JG.
Nobody wants a G.
Oh man. Well, Marvin, so that's
you couldn't go back and forth with him.
That's true.
I guess the point of the story is you can tell the sidekick to scram whenever you want. I guess Robin probably got it.
See, man, this was a setup. You brought Christy on this show today, knowing that you know what, I would do well at Game of the Week this once. I was on a roll, and it was just too much for me.
Well, it's not all lost, Marvin. You can still get a point here. Do you think that Christy would rather eat every object between flock and full or between Blimp and Brown in the dictionary?
I'd say between flock and full because she already said she wasn't going to eat anything brown. So thank you for that little tidbit earlier. So yeah, we're going to go with that.
Yes, that is correct.
Is that what you would do? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to die if she switched her answer.
That would have been hilarious, to be honest.
All right, so Marvin, you're hanging on there with 1 point here. Richie, you never know. If Richie gets one and not both right, you'll still be tied. If Richie misses both, you have a chance to win it all right here. But as Richie is smiling and ready to go over here, I think he knows if he gets both points, he is going for that Anything Championship. Are you ready? Richie, what are you thinking?
I'm ready. It's just, 10 years. It's Tony from 10 years from when I really knew Tony. So it's a different Tony. He's the butler seems like a very likely story, but I gotta go with my gut. I'm gonna sidekick.
Tony, you want a sidekick or a butler?
I want the butler.
He wants the butler. He wants a G.
Woo!
I want a Jeffrey.
He does.
All right.
Thanks, Tony.
So it all comes down to this.
Now I gotta save.
It comes down to the dictionary. This is a chance to save your life in the game, Richie. Do you think Tony wants to eat everything between flock and full or between, Blimp and Brown?
Okay. Now this one I have a little more confidence than the previous one. Flock and full is fudge, and that sounds delicious. And brown is not sound delicious. So
Flock and full, Tony?
Well, fudge is brown.
It is brown.
Ooh.
But I did go with A.
All right. Richie hangs on. All right. We're going again. 2 questions. Would you rather have a life-size tattoo of Bono on your back or be permitted to use only one deodorant scent, sour cream, and chives? Second question.
And Marvin's guessing for me, and Richie's guessing for Christy, or?
Yep. Would you rather have Spanish subtitles appear as you speak or have a photographic memory where all the people are replaced with the cast of Prison Break? We got our answers locked in?
Yep.
Prison.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Richie, you're guessing for Christy.
I am.
All right.
Okay.
Do you think she would rather have a life-size tattoo of Bono on her back or be permitted to only wear sour cream and chive?
I mean, it can't be A because she's not big enough for a life-size Bono tattoo. It's gotta be chive.
B, he's going with sour cream and chive deodorant.
Yes. Good job.
Hey, that's not a bad anyway, first of all.
All right, so the second one here. Do you think she would rather have Spanish subtitles when she talks, or would she rather have all of her memories played back with a cast of Prison Break?
I mean, I'm going to go back to our original point and like our history. It's got to be A, Spanish subtitles.
Spanish subtitles.
Sí, señor. Muy bueno.
All right. So there's 2 points there. It's going back. Marvin's shaking his head. I will have everybody know it has gone back and forth. It has been 50-50. Everybody's had an equal opportunity. The cards.
Why didn't you choose Butler, Christy? Damn.
Because I want a sidekick.
No, you don't.
I do.
You have a baby coming. That's your
Let me tell you, you want what I tell you to want.
Richie guessed the sidekick for me, and it was a Butler. So Marvin, it's okay. It's okay.
You're in sync with Tony, and that's why you should be confident right now because
I'm losing my mind over here.
It's time to stay alive. All right, so all you got to do is get both of these right. No pressure. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
What do you think Tony wants? A life-size tattoo of Bono on his back, or is he wearing the sour cream and chives deodorant?
Sour cream and chives. Tony all day.
Yeah.
Tony don't know no Bono.
I don't know no Bono.
You guys don't like Bono?
Who's Bono? Is that you? Is that you too? What is that?
That's you too. Yeah.
That's the wrestler?
No. What do you think, Marvin? Did Tony want to have Spanish subtitles or the cast of Prison Break relive his memories?
Spanish subtitles.
Sí, señor, sí. No me digas.
You didn't see Tony watching Prison Break. Life's so positive and upbeat. I don't know watch Prison Break.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to read 2 questions again. Tony and Christy are going to write their answers down again. You're both going to write what you think they both said for both questions. So you should have 4 answers.
The 4 points.
For 4 points. And you're going to read them off at the end as to what you think they said, and they'll confirm. All right. Would you rather have the skateboarding ability of Tony Hawk or have control of the New England Patriots Board of Directors? For the second and final question. Here we go. Would you rather smoke 100 cigarettes nasally or tongue clean 10 blocks worth of New York City's public phone mouthpieces? We'll say for the game's sake, pre or post COVID time is fine.
Like that matters.
How many are in a block?
Marvin?
There's a lot. It's gonna take you all day.
And you know who's using those? People that can't afford cell phones.
Yeah.
Or people who can't afford to be caught on their cell phone.
Oh, snap. Most of Wall Street.
Yeah.
All right, Richie, we'll let you go first. So for the first question, would you rather have the skateboarding ability of Tony Hawk or control of the New England Patriots Board of Directors? Which do you think Christy picked?
I'm going to go with A.
A.
Well, Christy can't say anything, though.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, don't say anything yet.
Chill.
Yep. So, Richie.
This is interesting now because Marvin gets to match his answers. Does he match him or does he go against him? I like it.
Ooh.
I'm surprised we're going this way, but that's okay. Tony's is a little more challenging because it depends on how nefarious Tony's trying to be. Like, is he trying to tank the New England Patriots? As a Steelers fan, that could be in his best interest. But I'm still going to go with A for Tony.
A for Tony. Okay. Marvin. Same question. Do you think Christy wants the skateboarding ability of Tony Hawk or to have control of the New England Patriots board of directors?
Go with A.
And what about for Tony?
I think Tony wants to tank the Patriots. So I think I'm going to go with Pats on this one, board of directors.
All right. So we have the first question logged in. Richie, the second question was, would you rather smoke 100 cigarettes nasally or tongue clean 10 blocks worth of New York City's public phone mouthpieces? It's almost too gross to say out loud. Which one do you think Christy would rather do?
I mean, these both suck, let's be honest. But I'm going to go with A. I think A is the easier choice.
So A for that one. And for Tony, do you think he would rather smoke 100 cigarettes through his nostril or lick a whole bunch of phone booth mouthpieces?
A for Tony.
A for both. Some no smokers.
All 4 questions to clarify. No, Tony.
Marvin,
That's...
you've varied it once, so there's a good chance that you could come away with the win. What do you think Christy would rather do? Smoke 100 cigarettes nasally or lick all those mouthpieces?
100 cigarettes nasally.
Go with A. And for Tony?
Same thing.
Same thing?
You don't want to put himself through that.
All right, so A and A. All right. I will turn this over to Tony. Tony, give us your answer on both questions.
Number 1 was B. Richie was correct when he did his analysis. He just went against what he thought. So he picked A, but it really is B.
So that is 1 point for Marvin.
And then for number 2, I picked A, obviously.
Not coming anywhere near those phone booths.
I ain't licking shit. I ain't getting the blue waffle.
Christy, what did you get for the first one? Did you want to have the skateboarding ability of Tony Hawk, or did you want to control the New England Patriots?
I went for the Patriots.
The Patriots.
So they both got it wrong.
They both got it wrong. Oh man.
Fuck.
Richie, you had better hope she likes phone booths. That's your only hope.
Phone booths or not.
Christy, what do you think?
And I went with smoke.
Is smoking nasally. Marvin wins game of the week, and he is going on to the finale where he will compete for the Anything Championship. Marvin, what you got to say about your victory?
I just want to thank you all out there for being patient. I told y'all it was a long time of coming, going to the championship. I will not let y'all down. Mom, I'm going to Disneyland soon. I'm going to bring it home.
All right, that does it for a very exciting game of the week. Don't go anywhere. We have For Real coming up.
2 elderly men sneak out of a nursing home to attend a heavy metal festival.
Yeah, buddy.
Can't make this stuff up.
State population to double by 2040. Babies to blame. For real?
Oregon man driving stolen car crashes into woman driving another stolen car.
Oh my God.
What? Police warn of an alligator on the loose in Michigan.
In Michigan? He's lost.
For real?
For real?
For real?
For real? For real on the H2G podcast.
Welcome back. We've got For Real. Marvin, go ahead with your story.
I got you. The U.S. government has now, however, officially advised against pushing over a slower friend to save yourself against the attack of grizzly bears. The National Park Service has warned against sacrificing another person to an irate bear, even if you think the friendship has run its course. And a rather informal set of recommendations has been posted. Bear attacks are rare, but real threat in parts of the U.S. The Park Service message to anyone coming face to face with a bear is advised to move away closely and sideways. This allows you to keep an eye on the bear and avoid tripping. Moving sideways is also non-threatening to bears. People should not run. Like dogs, they will chase fleeing animals. The message warns, escape up a tree. Both grizzlies and black bears are adept at climbing trees. The warning then adds, do not push a slower friend, even if you think the friendship has run its course. Instead, they advise people to hold their ground and make noises to identify yourself as a human and not a prey animal. So I want to kick it around the horn, and I want to ask you fellas, Christy, you folks out there, what would you do if you were in this situation? And if so, if you had a friend and it ran its course, Christy, which one of us would you decide you want to push down?
That's
man.
so good. Ooh.
He just raised the stakes on everything.
You know, it's
You are so pretty, Marvin.
a fair question.
You're so pretty. It's mildly intimidating. So I'm probably going to push you down.
Push me? You're going to push me down? Is it because I didn't answer the question right earlier?
Yes.
Thank God I'm ugly.
Revenge.
All right. There you have it, folks. Tony, what would you do, man?
Well, you know that I've already told Carrie many times that you have to make sure you run faster than me because I'm not sacrificing myself. I'm not falling down. It's not going to happen. If I was in that situation, I absolutely would do what they recommend us not to do, and that's to push the slowest person down so we could all get away. Now, if I had to pick between the people that are on this panel, man, that's a rough right there. I think
if it ran its course, think about it.
I think I might have to push either Christy or Justo down. It just depends if Christy's pregnant or not.
Post baby.
All right.
Friendship ran its course.
Now, Justin, I mean, would you grab them before they had a chance to get away?
I might just, I'm just going to keep everybody with me. We're fighting this thing. Nobody's running. I'm just going to bear hug all of you and be like, see, we're the same.
Right.
And we all died.
Richie, what'd you think? Would you follow these guidelines, man?
I mean, here's how I would say. As somebody who does hike a lot, I am half white. I would say that I would follow the guidelines. I'm used to it. I know. I run into mountain lions and bears in California, and I'm not joking. I actually do. So for me, I'd follow the guidelines. But to answer your question, because I think it was a very interesting question, which one of you would I sacrifice? This is challenging. I actually thought Christy was going to kill me for sure, so that caught me off guard. From my end, though, it's really tough because as much as I want to push Christy, as much as I want to push her, she is pregnant right now, and that's a little messed up. And I can't kill the black people, so I think you'd be good.
Man.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. But here's the follow-up question. When you guys, so say we're all camping, right? And you decide to shove me. That's fine. That's fair. I'm probably the slowest out of all of us. But what are you going to do when you get together at the mall for milkshakes after? Because I'm assuming that's what you do when you murder somebody. And I show up wearing a bearskin jacket.
I look at you and say, I knew you were going to make it. That's why you were sacrificed. It wasn't a sacrifice. You're the only one that could take this bear out.
Only big enough to fight a bear. Come on, man.
Right.
You know I love you. This is
I know.
just a story.
So
I'm just
It's all
messing.
love here, H2G. Yeah, they know that out there.
Christy
we
knows
were-
that she wouldn't die. I wouldn't sacrifice Christy.
no, we would save your life.
Because we're the distractions. We push you down, we run away, and the bear goes after us.
But you're not supposed to lay down. You're supposed to get big. You're supposed to stand your ground. Like,
Right, but the bears
they're gonna chase
follow
the running
the fleeing
step.
target more so than the target on the ground.
right. I understand. So,
cubs are
well,
definitely
like,
going
and that's, so this is, this is in case we do decide to run if there's a bear. But the guideline says,
Don't run.
don't run. Everybody stay. Otherwise, because if you don't run, the bear won't run
Yeah.
after anybody.
Yeah, they advise you to use your voice.
Yeah, you got to get loud and big and stand your
Lock
ground.
eyes, get his
Hey.
make noise.
I'm the man. You're the bear. Get out
So
of
if Christy can stand
here.
toe to toe with the bear and scream in his face, the rest of us have a chance to get away.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen. The cat's out of the bag that we would sacrifice, people that we really wouldn't want to sacrifice. And speaking about cats, a cat brought into a Las Vegas shelter as a stray was reunited with his family 10 years after going missing from a friend's house. Thanks to a microchip, the Animal Foundation was able to reunite Logan the cat with his family after 10 years of being missing. Here's my question. Why did it take 10 years if this cat was microchipped? What's going on there? Like, come on, man. What do you think about this story, Richie?
I mean, what you just said is my question. I really feel like the family didn't want the cat back. It was one of those like, they just wanted it to sound like they cared. And then at some point, like the actual agency was like, no, we actually found your cat. And they're like, no, there's no way. It's been gone for 10 years. It's like, no, here's your cat, And now you got this old cat that's going to die soon and you have to take care. Those are always the worst situations. Like, I love animals. I love pets. But the worst part is when they die. And a cat that's been on its own for 10 years? That's not, I don't know. I don't know, man. That cat is toast.
Oh my goodness. So how old was this cat when it ventured off?
I don't have that information, but I'm guessing it was young.
That would have to be.
Yeah.
And it was just out in the wild? Or where?
Yeah, it was at a friend's house, and then I guess it went outside, and then it was a stray cat, and then they found it 10 years later, the Animal Foundation. It was at a shelter, and then they told the family, and it was reunited with the family 10 years after being missing, and the shelter had posted the good news and the great story on a Facebook post.
Well, what a crappy friend. That is a friend that I would sacrifice to a bear.
Fair.
Bring my cat back. Thank you. But yeah, bad friend.
See, this is honestly why I don't do cats, y'all. I mean, I like them, but this is why I prefer dogs over cats, because this isn't homeward bound. That cat didn't make it. Like, that cat was so independent. It did so well without that family for so many years. It forgot about the relationship. It forgot about which hand that feeds it. So it just didn't even care anymore. Now it's just ready to leave this earth. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but that's just selfish I'm not even going to blame the friend. That's selfish on the part of the cat. It should have already found its way home. I mean, you trust that when you read that in books. They'd be like, oh, the cat had found its way home. They know the hand that feeds them. They apparently don't.
To me, that goes back to the news. In a lighter subject, we talked about, there you go, microchipping doesn't work. No point in microchipping us, because they can't even find a cat.
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
And that was for real. Next up is the Up and Up. Stay tuned.
Lights, camera, action. H2G presents the Up and Up.
Welcome back, folks. You are listening to H2G podcast. This is the Up and Up. Robin Williams' final days are explored in a new documentary. The comic legend was battling a neurological disease that will be explored in upcoming documentary Robin's Wish. In the trailer for the film, filled with behind-the-scenes footage of the actor, Williams in an interview says, "The human brain is an extraordinary 3.5-pound gland. The moment you think you understand it, it comes out as something else." The trailer then examines Williams' death by suicide in August 2014. An autopsy report revealed he was, unbeknownst to him, battling Lewy body dementia. Williams' widow, Susan Shiner Williams, said in a statement, during last year of his life, Robin was confronted with anxiety, paranoia, insomnia, scared altered realities, and a roller coaster of hope and despair. So I want to kick it around the horn and ask you guys, I know I can assume that we're all fans of Robin Williams, and was this something that you guys knew Robin Williams was going through, or like, did you guys have an insight? Christy, what do you think?
No, I actually had no idea. This is actually the first I've heard about it, and I'll have to go check that documentary out. Speaking of Lewy body dementia, actually my uncle had that, and it's so hard to watch somebody with that. Oh, it's so hard to say. Like, I would totally off myself too, which is very messed up to say, but being in that situation and knowing like there's no cure, or like people just can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to be miserable. So I totally am on board with like assisted suicides. Unfortunately, he did not go that way, because you want to be surrounded by people when you die. But goodness, that's something else.
No, Christy, I'm completely there with you. My grandmother actually has it. No lie. She has Lewy body dementia, something we were told about 5 years ago, and they actually mentioned Robin Williams' name when they came out with her diagnosis. And all I can say before I get to Richie, Tony, and Justin is that, Christy, it was tough for her because her reality was always altered. Like, she would see stuff. My grandmother would always say, if I came over to visit her, anytime I was in town, she was like, "Marvin, there's a small man living on my ledge." And I didn't. And as funny as that may sound for just a moment, the thought, like, she actually, this is something that she believed. And if I went against her and said it wasn't there, she got really upset. And she would say, "I don't want to be here anymore." And that kind of just broke my heart because I didn't realize what she was going through. Like, the police had to come to her house more than one occasion. So when I, read this about Robin Williams, and I know they're coming out with a documentary, I think it's something that everybody needs to, to at least know about, because it's so new. It's a degenerative neurological disease. And I can't imagine what Robin was going through.
Yeah, this is a tricky subject, Marv. I mean, one of the things you guys both already talked about is, the repercussions of Lewy body dementia. I have not had a family member have this, but I understand that, from my understanding, it's like one of the more severe in terms of like how quickly and how fatal this happens to people. I think the average lifespan is between 6 to 10 years when they get diagnosed, but all forms of dementia realistically have that like 10 to 12 year mark. So, I mean, all forms of dementia are awful. In the case of the documentary and reading the story, I think what's kind of troubling and saddening to hear is that Robin didn't even know he had this, right? They found it in the autopsy. So he had no clue this was happening. So can you imagine, just think about that, like what you said, your grandmother witnessed is what was happening is he's hallucinating, right? So he's hallucinating, his world is, and his spectrum's changing, and the people around him, either he didn't articulate it to them, and who knows, we'll find out in this documentary perhaps, or they neglected the signs that this was happening to him. So on either side of that, it's very sad. I'm definitely going to watch this because he was brilliant. And I'm very curious to see what had happened. He was a big part of my childhood. So I really do want to see this documentary. I want to see what was going on in the final, year of his life is based on this documentary. So I'm curious to see. I'm very sad to hear that he didn't know it had occurred.
Yeah.
And it's very troubling to hear that they said that it was one of the worst medical professional cases this doctor had ever seen of Lewy body dementia. So very sad that didn't come to light sooner, because maybe that helplessness could have been reduced in the sense of him knowing at least what he was dealing with. And maybe not, though, because again, at the end of the day, there's no cure. There's no way to reduce the impact of what it's going to cause to him. But very sad, very troubling, and I'm curious to see what happened. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, to answer your question, I mean, if the people around him didn't see the warning signs, I know for a fact that I didn't see any warning signs. I mean, I see things all the time with entertainers, and sometimes you don't know if it's, a ploy that they're doing, or are they doing it for, because they have a new book coming out or a movie coming out. I mean, the last couple of years, I've actually looked at Jim Carrey, and I've been very worried about Jim Carrey just because of the things that he's said and, the way that he looks. But we're not talking about Jim Carrey. We're talking about Robin Williams. Robin I just watched Mrs. Doubtfire actually the other day, and it still brings a smile to my face. He's just such a genius. And what Richie said, it really makes me think, like, man, to think that somebody could have been sitting there hallucinating, going through all this different thought processes and not knowing why you're going through these thought processes, and then maybe trying to take your life because you thought maybe you were losing your mind or not in the right mindset. I mean, that's very disheartening and sad. And I'm not saying that's how it went, because I wasn't there. Robin Williams, didn't let any of that information out. But I'm just speculating. And when you speculate like that, it's very disheartening, and it just breaks my heart that could be one of the reasons why he did what he did. I'm very interested in the documentary. I hope it sheds a little bit more light so that more people understand. I've never really had immediate family that was sick, but I've had someone close to me that I saw deteriorate right in front of me, and that was something that was very heartbreaking. And so I just hope that more information can get out there to people, so that way they can learn more about it, and hopefully we don't have instances like this moving forward.
Thank you, Tony. Justin.
Well, Robin Williams, obviously one of the greats, definitely one of my biggest inspirations. There's a part of what comedians do, as I'm sure Richie and Marvin could both attest to, and really, Tony and Christy, I mean, what we do is comedy as well. It all comes from a place of pain, from a place of experience, of learning. So part of me, when I first found out about the suicide, was like, well, it's extremely sad, but it doesn't surprise me, because he's brought joy to so many people for so long. So I just assume that he's feeling pain. And because comedians, you see it all the time, and we've seen it over the years. Comedians struggle with depression and all these things once they've become big. They've literally made their living off of people laughing at their pain and their struggles. As far as what I would do, or I don't want to talk about that, because I'm genetically prepositioned for a version of dementia. It's not the same. The moment it actually ticks for me, and which could be at any point with these conditions, that I don't have control over my memory anymore. I think the moment I realize I can't tell my story anymore, I can't, because that's what we do as actors and as performers and entertainers. We process our own emotions in life through our art and try to help others. And when that gets taken away, I could see that bringing very dark thoughts.
Yeah, I feel you, Justin. It's not an easy thought, that comes to mind. You feel empathy for those that are going through it. I'm looking very forward to seeing Robin's Wish. Like we can all attest on this show that he's one of the greatest we've seen. It really hits home. Degenerative brain diseases really affect families. That is the Up and Up for this week. We have more stories for you next week as we have them. You are listening to the H2G podcast.
Hey folks, you're tuning in to The Last Word. First and foremost, I wanted to thank our special guest, Christy, for showing up for a majority of our show. So, pleasant surprise from Justin. I did want her not on the show. Clearly, I was beaten. I did not have a say in this by any means, but you get her 2 weeks in a row. Very fortunate to have her on the show. Christy, what's your last word?
Well, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure once again. And I hope you guys still just can't get rid of me, because I will keep coming back. But yeah, just have a good week and stay positive.
Okay.
Not corona positive, but regular positive.
You're stronger than corona and cockroaches. No way. We can't get rid of them. So I'm happy for that. Justin.
Well, I also want to thank Christy for answering my call for help and coming to being awesome. And I think we'll keep you around. You're pretty great. Last word for the week. You know, I hate to end things on a serious note, but I'm going to go back to where we were at with news. Do your part. Go out and no, actually, don't go out unless you have to. And if you do go out, wear your mask. Take the proper precautions and stop being stupid. Live, laugh, love like it's your last.
The H2G podcast. Man, that rhymed. Cool. Marvin.
Well, I had a lot of fun today, y'all. I want to thank Christy coming on the show again. It was a pleasure. I forgive you for wanting me to be eaten by a bear after I asked you a fair question. It was down the middle question. Anyway, still love you. Nothing but love here at H2G. And I want to thank my brothers, Tony, Richie, and Justin, for just being who you are and reiterating what my fellas said earlier. Do your part. Wear your mask. This is not a game. We have a lot of fun here on this show. We want you to have a lot of fun too when you listen to us. But we also want you to be safe. We want you to be smart, not stupid. And we can't emphasize that enough. So you have my blessings. Have a great week. We'll see y'all next week.
Well, I'd like to thank Christy as well for the third time or the fourth time or however many times. I think it's the fourth time. It doesn't really matter. Thank you, Christy, for coming on. I'd like to thank the fellas. You know, it's always fun when we do this thing that we get to do on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning and get to spread news and love and joy to all the masses. So with that, I want to talk about what we talked about earlier. Justo kind of hit it with the mask. Just do your part. Be smart. Think about others. Think about yourself. And with that, I want to go into the last part of the show, which we talked about Robin Williams. And depression and suicide is no laughing matter. We all know that. So if you're listening to the show, the H2G podcast, and you feel a certain way and you don't really understand, I encourage you to reach out to people because people love you and people want to help. Now, for those people that might know somebody that is feeling that way, I would encourage you to just stay steady and stay ready. Don't push, because sometimes pushing makes it even worse. Just be there, always on the call, and we'll get through this. You'll get through this. We'll get through this. Those are my last words.
That's hard to follow. What I would say is, Christy, thank you again. I had to say it officially, and I guess I'll say it on a personal level now, I suppose. You know, you kind of ruined my perception of women, I'll be honest. So, I grew close to you, you know, and most of my friends, I've never really had a bond since then. So I would say what everyone else has been saying in terms of wearing a mask, as much as I'm not going to implore you to do it, because chances are if you are the person who's not doing it, you're not going to continue to do it until it hit home, like Marv said. So it would be nice if you didn't. Wear the damn mask. It's not that complicated. As far as sadness and depression, I mean, Tony said it better than I'm going to say it, so I'm not even going to comment on that. But we're always here for you. Sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers. So if you ever feel like you need somebody to talk to, you guys got our website. You can find us on Facebook. Go to the H2G podcast on Facebook. We're all there. We're admins. You can just guess the Richie is me, most likely. So anytime you guys need to talk, we're always here for you. And stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon.
This has been a Justo's Best production. Thank you for listening.